And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling a coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. From the gun, it's Favre. Forced out, and he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. That's Cameron Hayward who got in there to take him down. I thought there at the end he may have had a chance to release that, but that pocket closed a little too quickly, and down he went.
Yeah, he was certainly trying to do everything he could to extend the life of the play, probably counting in his head 1, 2, and then he ran out of time.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that one is incomplete. And it also concludes quarter number 1. 1 quarter in the books at the Coliseum. What a day. It's the AFC Stars with the early lead. This is the John Madden Legacy game on EA Sports. Wisnowski on to punt as he sends this one away. Fielded at the 43. That'll go as a 39-yard punt, give him 9 on the return. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Now the AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket, and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy. He's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the pocket than Tom Brady.
And I know that Coach has a great appreciation for Tom Brady, who turned 45 back on August 3rd, because Coach coached a guy like him in George Blanda, who played a long time in the NFL. In this game, it features legends and active players. Tom Brady qualifies as both.
But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st-round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles, with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Norm Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons. He coached with the Vikings. And it was there during that time, I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
Well, Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 32, Brandon, John Madden assumed the mantle of head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And what a ride he, the Raiders, and the NFL were about to go on.
That's to his running back, complete. He will have the conversion and more than that. And he will reach the 5-yard line before going out of bounds. Charles, you talked about John Madden and the Raiders going on a ride. Well, try these numbers on for size. In 10 seasons as a head coach, the Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times. And he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
Think about it. That's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root, as did the expression commitment to excellence. And boy,
touchdown! Tony Gonzalez, a 5-yard touchdown, as his guys are able to extend their lead. Another impressive drive, so they're 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns. Charles, a great start to this ball game for them.
And one of the words that's really worked its way into our lexicon is stacking. They've stacked momentum each time out, not only on offense. Between those touchdowns, defense held, forced a punt to get the ball back, and they played awfully well in this one. Both sides playing at optimum level.
So what can Brady do here as he'll lead his guys up to go for 2. They'll look to throw. Try to drop one in, but it's incomplete. So unable to throw it in for 2 from the 2. Let me ask you, as a former DB, what changes there around the goal line on a 2-point conversion as far as how you're defending it?
You just make sure you never back up and you never retreat. You establish yourself really on the line of scrimmage, put your heels on the goal line at worst. And if they're going to throw the ball, make them throw it over your head, because they're going to run out of space because of the back of the end zone. Never let a guy catch one in front of you.
And it is gobbled up by the NFC. A second quarter onside kick there that failed. Is that something that maybe they had dialed up before this game started?
It feels like it, doesn't it? That they thought they had the right situation, you know, and the right approach in going after it. Also may signal that they feel like they have the superior team, that they can try these sorts of things and it won't come back and hurt them later.
Charles, you think about all the success that John Madden had as an NFL head coach, and he had plenty, and we talked about it, including the 10 straight winning seasons, a Super Bowl title. But like any great coach, he also suffered through a few tough losses along the way as well.
And Brandon, those tough losses came in high-stakes games because they always had such great success. Think about it this way. 6 times in his 10 years, the Raiders were knocked out in either the AFL championship game or the AFC championship game. There might be a divisional round exit. That's the one that bothered him most of all. Three River Stadium, December 1972. Yes, the Immaculate Reception game. Franco Harris grabbing the ball that was deflected. Almost at his shoe tops, he picked it up and took it in for a game-winning score to give the Steelers a 13-7 victory. And partner, anyone who loves black and silver still doesn't believe that ball hit anyone in black and silver that day, and that play should never have counted.
Favre on second down. Looking left sideline, incomplete.
They're putting together a drive here in the final minutes of the half, but the coverage has been tight all game long, and they certainly want to keep them up the scoreboard here.
Now Favre. That's to the right side, complete to Kittle. And they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line. This will wind up a loss on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. It looked like the defense, they were ready for that one.
Really left him almost no room to work after catching the ball. He could throw every move in the book at him. They were there, and they tackle him for a loss.
Anderson's kick is good, and that lead is back down to 9 now. So, Charles, they are on the board after that kick. So 3 drives, 3 points. Obviously not the start that you were hoping for, but they're able to erase that 0 off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is a point of drive is not what offenses are striving for by any stretch. They're happy they've got 3 now. They hope that that unlocks their offense for bigger points down the road.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The offense for the AFC set to go now. And with 8 seconds on the clock, really not a lot of time to try to put anything together. They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. But coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley. The AFC going to get the football first here as we are back underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line. Brady now on first down. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. Second down. Brady's incompletion on first down leads to a 2nd and 10. He'll drop to throw. Flushed out right. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long. I'm sure a lot of time was spent in the locker room, Charles, with talking with his defense about setting a tone here in the 3rd quarter when you're down on the scoreboard. A sack like that, maybe that can get them going.
Yeah, you have to believe exactly what you just said, that they got together and said, let's be some change agents here. Let's go ahead and turn things around. Let's be the force that gets us going here in the second half and puts us in a position to find a way to win the game.
Two things you can do in that situation: run it and punt the football, or try and take your shot at getting the first down. They chose the latter, but they'll have to punt all the same.
Brady going to go on 4th down. Over the middle, complete. It's Gonzalez. And he's not able to get away. He is stopped well short of a first down. Here's Favre to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete. So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42, he just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers. And he did with that big personality that he had, one that connected with everyone.
They're not going to get it. They try to move the chains with a surprise, but it's a turnover on downs. They pass up the 3, fake it. It doesn't work. And as a result, possession switches hands. Oftentimes with these gadget plays, these fakes, we focus on the offense and say, hey, they practiced this week. They were, but the defenses practice these situations too.
And just look at it this way. The two owners sitting up in their boxes, one is saying, boys, my team well prepared, and the other one's like, I got to talk to my coaches. What were they thinking?
The AFC offense set to take their next drive. Throwing on first down is Brady. And he cannot get rid of it. The NFC getting in there for the sack. Michael Strahan. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on second down. And he's taken down. It's a gain of 3 from the 17 to the 20.
So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat.
A leap, and he's got it. He got it. A big play there for the AFC. 42 yards. Well, make that now 2 completions for him on this drive, and these aren't ordinary completions. They're big ones.
Yeah, these are the types that make a secondary talk to each other and not in a good way. Oftentimes pointing fingers. Hey, who's got him? Someone. That type of indecision can open up to even more big plays.
So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on first down. Here's Allen. And he'll take it from the 18 to the 15, a gain of 3.
Not a whole lot there. The defense was ready, it looked, for that run-pass option.
You get the sense that next time he has that opportunity, he may keep it himself and get to the perimeter. Probably owes his back a little bit of an apology on that one, huh?
And that is caught for an AFC touchdown. Tony Gonzalez, a beast in the red zone with his 2nd touchdown of the game. And they're able to add on to their advantage.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical. That's one of the words you've taught me. And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the 3rd quarter.
Not only pulling away, but you mentioned that slowly but surely. You also drain clock, too, with a drive like that. So you really give yourself an advantage.
So what can Brady do here as he'll lead his guys up to go for 2. They'll try and throw for it. And this is going to be caught. It's good. And that extends their lead by 2 more.
Three quarters complete now in the John Madden legacy game from Oakland. It's the AFC on top. And we're back to the Coliseum after this.
Vinatieri out there to kick this one away.
Hester to return from his end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
The numbers for the NFC on 3rd down, just 1 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 10.
To throw is far.
Pressure, and the AFC gets to him for the sack.
That time, multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6.
We all know he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but definitely not today. His team trailing by multiple touchdowns and a late sack, just a parting gift from the defense for him to take back to the locker room with him.
And the NFC punt team out there now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Powering forward. They'll call this a 41-yard punt, 7 on the return. And the AFC will take over 1st and 10. The offense for the AFC set to go now.
It's been a dominant performance to this point, Charles, and this is probably exactly how they scripted this and envisioned it. They got a 3-score lead, fourth quarter, and a chance if they want to continue to pour it on here.
It is their call, isn't it? I mean, the way that they have taken on this game and the way that they have carried this game and have dominated this game, you're exactly right. Do what you want down the stretch. We are in the era of, hey, if you don't want us to do this to you, then you need to stop us. Their call to finish this one off.
As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you talk about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the All-Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitchman. And even the Madden Cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for. It's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden.
And Coach saw this originally as a way to teach the game of football. The early designs were for a 7-on-7 game, but he said no chance. He would not sign off on it. He wanted to be as realistic as possible. He told them, call me when it's 11-on-11. And he got his wish.
Yeah, after that debut, Madden the video game continued to pick up steam through the 90s in a big way. And John himself, many will remember, was a commentator for the series for many years. And now here we are in the 2020s, and this game has sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 million copies.
Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. Touchdown! Tony Gonzalez, a 20-yard touchdown, as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead.
I suppose it wasn't out of the realm of possibility that we could have seen a comeback, but that touchdown should put any hopes of a comeback out of reach. It's been a really quality effort for him here in this one.
And no matter what else you think, you have to admire the initiative to finish things off their way. Don't leave anything to chance, no matter how small the odds of a comeback were. Send it home with a touchdown and get to celebrating.
Brady will look to throw for it. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
I don't know about you, but I can't wait for a few years of 2-point tries and see what the data tells us, because a lot of teams want to throw the ball in this situation, this time unsuccessfully. I just wonder if maybe running the ball might be the way to go.
With it moved up from the 3 to the 2, you would think maybe a few more attempts at running.
I think stats over time may bear out that running the ball will at least be the equal of throwing it in that situation.
On 1st down, Favre.
Well, the pressure gets home, and the AFC comes up with a sack. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in this football game.
Guys with his talent in the pocket aren't supposed to be getting hit like this, and you know an intense conversation with the offensive line is going to occur after this one. Might not be from him, but the offensive line coach will have plenty to say about this game.
On 2nd down, Favre.
Throw complete there to Jerry Rice.
And he'll be brought down just shy of the 40. Throwing is Favre. And, oh, that's going to wind up incomplete. Nearly their first pick of the game, but it does bring up 4th down.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
They're going on 4th down. It's Favre.
Able to haul it in is Kittle. And what are the whistles for? Timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. One final shot. They'll look to throw.
Oh, that's into a sea of bodies, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by Stephon Gilmore. And that will write a finish to this ball game.
So it's a win here for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. Before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.